guys, welcome to the channel. So today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing a install of the TRD cold air intake on my third generation Toyota Tacoma. Before we dive into the tools that are needed, if you would like, please subscribe, share, and like this video. I would really appreciate that. So as I mentioned, the tools that you're going to need is a Phillips screwdriver number 3, needle nose pliers, socket wrench with the sizes being 8mm, 10mm, and 12mm, and then an extension. In addition to that, mine didn't come with the instructions, so I went ahead and printed one online, which I'll include the link to in my description. My video isn't going to be a full, uninstall and then an install. I'm just going to go step by step, but I will point out what I'll be doing in each step, just to kind of point you guys in the right direction if you need it. The instruction manual is really thorough. I went ahead and reviewed it, and it should definitely assist you in everything you need, but you can always use this video as a reference. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and point the camera at the truck to begin the process. All right. Hey guys, welcome back. So what we're going to be doing first is we're going to be disconnecting the negative battery terminal right there. We're going to be removing the engine cover, and then underneath here there's a hose clamp that you'll undo with one of the tools that is required. So I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. Okay, so I went ahead and undid this bolt here, and then you can't see it right now, but I went ahead and undid the battery terminal. Both those are 8mm, so that's all you'll need, just the 8mm socket to undo this, and then undo the battery terminal. The next step is to remove this hose clamp right here, which you can barely see, but I'll point to it right there. You're going to need some needle nose pliers to remove that, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay guys, next we're going to do 3 things here. We're going to unplug the mass airflow sensor, which is right there. We're going to undo this harness holder that's on the airbox. The retaining clip is on the back here, so you're just going to push that towards the battery, so that way, and it should come undone. It should flip up, and then you're going to take this out of the airbox as well, which is a little harness right here, which clips on. So you're just going to lift up with all the pieces and there, and it should come right out. Okay, next what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and unclip these 2 clips right here, one over here and one over there, and it should make the whole airbox slide right out since we've already disconnected everything, in addition to unscrewing this bolt right here, which is on the throttle body right there. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. Okay, so like I said, came right out. So you want to set that aside for right now. You're going to need some items from it later on, which I believe is just going to be the mass airflow sensor. So make sure you set that aside in a safe spot so you can access it later. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and remove the air filter, and underneath that is the airbox in itself. With that, there's 2 bolts that are holding it on, which are 12mm. So you're going to undo the 12mm bolts, and should make the airbox come out. So there's the airbox removed. I was mistaken. There's actually a 3rd bolt, which is on the outside of the airbox, which is towards the passenger's cab. So it's kind of opposite of this side, so not facing the front, towards the passenger's cab. Per the instructions, it does want you to remove this piece right here from the airbox, because I believe we're going to be reusing this airbox for the cold air intake, and this is going to be replaced with another unit right here. So on my workbench, I'm going to go ahead and remove that real quick. So there's the piece removed. What I was able to do is I have one of these tools right here, which if you have one, that's great. If you don't, you could probably use a flat screwdriver, but just be really careful. I went underneath and I pried it up and basically just popped right off. I didn't really need to reapply it anywhere else or anything like that. So like I said, if you have one of these, that's great. I picked this up on Amazon. I'll leave the link to it. I think it was like $5, so it's really cheap, and it's a really cool thing to have to pry anything plastic off without damaging it. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and remove the mass airflow sensor, which is right here. We're going to remove this clip, and this little wire holder right here. But to make things easier, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and remove this piece. I'm going to undo this bolt so this piece can come off, so it'll be easier to work with, and just set this aside because I'll only be needing this right here. So I'm going to go ahead and do all those items, and I'll be right back. Okay, so one more thing. Like I said, I went ahead and removed that other piece that was here so that it'd be easier to work with. One thing, when you have the mass airflow sensor removed, do not touch it. Just only touch the plastic part that's on the outside of the unit. As soon as you have it removed, set it aside. Don't put it in an area where it can get bumped or damaged or fall, because I hear that unit is pretty temperamental and any little thing can damage it. So just be really, really careful with it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to remove it and I'm going to set it aside until I'm ready to plug it back in. Okay, so that was probably the hardest step so far. So this unit right here wasn't too difficult to come out. What you want to do is you want to go ahead and just pinch this with the needle nose pliers on those two little top pieces there that you see. So I'm kind of turning it around there, so you'll see what I mean when I say pinch it. And then this right here, this was kind of difficult as well. So this you want to pop out with the needle nose pliers, kind of like that on one side, and then once it's out, pop the other side out, and then you'll have it figured out. All right, let's see what's next here. Okay, so per the instructions, now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be installing the mass airflow sensor back into the TRD cap, and we're going to be installing these pieces back into the TRD cap as well. I'm going to kind of deviate from the instructions here. I'm going to install that piece last because I don't want to be banging. I'm going to be installing the mass airflow sensor last because I don't want to be banging around this with the airflow sensor in and it potentially get damaged somehow or something like that. So I'm going to be doing that part last. So I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. Okay, so after you install the mass airflow sensor and the clips and the retaining clip to hold the wire down, next you're going to want to assemble the cover of the intake all the way to the throttle body. So basically I have it laid out on how it should be assembled. I'm going to go ahead and assemble it, but that's the general layout. Those two clamps, they go towards the end there on the right hand side. So I'll be putting those clamps in wherever they're appropriate. So I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. So there's the unit assembled with all the components that came with the truck. It's pretty straightforward. What makes it really, really easy is these little slits kind of tell you where to put each one and which way to face them. And those two clips at the end, those brackets, I should say, those are interchangeable, so it really doesn't matter which one goes where. They're interchangeable, they're the same size. So there's the unit assembled. Next, we're going to be installing this right here in the truck. Let me turn it around here for you. You see there's two different slits right there. There's one that looks like this and one that looks like this. What you want to do is you want to make sure that this side faces the front because that's the orientation it's going to go into the intake. So just make sure you do that. All right, I'm going to go ahead and show how to install this. So this unit right here, this is where it's going to get installed. It's going to get installed in that hole right over there. So basically, this is really, really pliable. It should go in really, really easily. But like I said, this slit right here needs to face like this. So just like this. You want to make sure that this is facing top-wise, and this is this slit right here. Actually, I'm sorry, there isn't a slit at the bottom there. Just make sure it's like this, like inside the hole. So just like that. Okay, so that piece is installed. Really doesn't look much different than what it looked before, except for it's right there. You can kind of see the slit up at the top. Maybe it might be a little bit dark. But just like that. And then next, what we're going to do is we're going to put the original airbox back into the truck, and we're going to bolt it down. Okay, so there's the TRD filter with the original airbox attached to the new cone that was inserted inside the filter. One thing that you do want to make note is don't push too hard where that cone is going to get seated farther into the fender. You don't want it to fall out or anything like that. All right, so next I believe we're, per the instructions, we're going to go ahead and install the cover with the little pieces going up into the throttle body. Okay, just like I mentioned, the last part was installing this whole unit all the way from here to the throttle body. Went ahead and got that done. Also went ahead and reattached the MAF airflow sensor clip for the wire, and then in addition the little holders that hold the wires down. There's one here and then there's one back over here that you'll see that it'll just clip into. Really easy to do. But other than that, pretty straightforward install, pretty easy. One more thing that I forgot to mention that I'll mention right now is don't forget to put this piece back on also here, which is the PVC little clip right here. You'll see right about there. Okay, all right. Like I said, if there's any questions, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section. All right, take care. Have a great day. Bye-bye.